And once what you have done is against a law in the country, we must allow the laws to work. And nobody should be above the law.
Ebushafo ma munyina akwa ba eba Ghana Asem TV GH. Pacho mesere mo like, comment, subscribe. Then your notification also so that anytime videos of this nature are uploaded, you'll be notified. Ebushafo yeko NSM nimwe.
The role of the church in politics. You see, for some time now, I said there is some animosity between the church and political actors, political players. I say, especially MPP for people who are not privy to the political history, fitness, thanks for power tapping, political history of Ghana, would be tempted to say, MPP for omu too harsh. Ebano Sofo Owusu other stuff. I say we speak with anger, we speak with pain. And some people do not understand why we speak with so much pain, with so much anguish. Now, a little reminder of how MPP, the New Patriotic Party, and the church in Ghana, the kind of relationship that has been between us. The MPP, the Church of God, Anka, we had a very smooth relationship. And this relationship, it did not start with a particular candidate contesting. Anka Rash Akwaba, long time no see. The relationship between MPP and the various churches, denominations, it did not start with a particular candidate of the MPP. You must understand, say, NPP a right-wing political party. Yes, Uncle Rush, I've missed you so much. MPP is a right-wing political party. Now, you see, a right-wing political party, our ideology, our way of thinking says that we believe that there is a human factor and that there is a divine factor in the development of every nation. That is what a right-wing political ideology stands for. And NPP is a right-center political party. So the church actually, any divinity is always part of every step NPP as a political party takes, because that is what we believe in. That is actually our genesis. The leftists, NDC for leftists for, they believe that in the development of every nation, they must get it all figured out. That is the difference between MPP and NDC. MPP believes that you play your part as a human being. God will also play his part in the development of a nation. The leftists, NDC, believe that it is all by their own strength. You cannot fault them. Now your political ideologies. And before you join a political party, you must ask and know about what the party stands for. Otherwise, you go and belong to something that you don't have any idea about. So you are getting it. And see, ideally, anytime MPP is in power, the church plays an integral part in the growth and in the development and in the governance of the nation when MPP is in power. That is the history between MPP and the church. So you realize, so when Akufo-Addo started contesting now, many pastors were on the side of Akufo-Addo. And in fact, some of the senior prophets that we know were always praying for Akufo-Addo, were always vouching, for the MPP to come to power. So we had senior men of God like Papa, Prophet Owusu Bempah, who were always giving one tip or the other to the MPP, because we believe in divinity. We believe in the God factor. MPP, no. Now, something happened when MPP came to power under Akufo-Addo. When Akufo-Addo came to power 2017, at the earliest part of Akufo-Addo's governance, now churches did not have any issue with Akufo-Addo. They didn't have any issue with the MPP. We were all coexisting in a very good manner. And only as of Bebrekasa, they will tell you, sir, indeed, they saw a lot of progress under MPP. Because under MPP regime way, that is when a lot of the digital stuff started coming in. People had the enablement of sending their tithes, their offering and stuff through digital ways and all those. And many churches actually enjoyed MPP's ATS editing power. Now, the issue started rising. Some pastors, some prophets wanted to take advantage of the relationship they had with the politicians that were in power, i.e. MPP. And Akufo-Addo, the kind of politician that does not like disorder. Akufo-Addo is a kind of politician that believes in allowing the systems to work. That is why under Akufo-Addo, he will create Office of the Special Prosecutor and go and appoint Martin Amidu, who is a known NDC member, to head that office, knowing very well, say, and after Martin Amidu, he will go ahead to appoint Ayɛka Ben. That's because that very office, Enye Juma. That is the view of Akufo-Addo. That is the kind of politician he is. Some pastors wanted to take advantage of the system. Some pastors wanted to act as though they were above the law. And whenever the law caught up with them now, they wanted to call in the favors of the politician. And when the politicians withdrew themselves, said debut, and once what you have done is against a law in the country, we must allow the laws to work. And nobody should be above the law. Then these pastors started getting offended. Yeah. We had instances, some pastors went to other people's homes and went to yield guns there, gave warning shots, and the police caught up with them. And when the police caught up with them, they felt that because they knew the president, they should not be handcuffed. But Emranye Jumasa, nobody is above the law. We are all under the law. Emrano, ewo homa obia. And we cannot say, because you know the president, utimi enya ope, udi oni momampenenti, utimi ko bob yasum and go scot-free and all those things. It could not work in such a manner. So Akufo-Addo wanted to allow the laws of the country to take their course. And some pastors became enemies, sworn enemies of Akufo-Addo, sworn enemies of MPP by so doing. And yes, MPP I born in but because the pastors themselves went to do wrong things, can I get thanks for reposting? And when the law started taking its course, IGP saying, then they felt they were supposed to be given some special favors. That is where the issue started. And say anybody out here Ghanani, when you understand the history between MPP and the church, you will realize that when the church is trying to sabotage MPP, you must not support the church in such a venture. Because MPP has not done anything at all against the church. Big Mo Mida say, never have we done anything ever curtail the church ni progress. Anye bibi sada. We love when the church grows. It's part of yen political tradition. It's part of our political ideology. Whether a Muslim is leading the MPP or not, we have the church in mind. We always have a plan for the church. That is why when someone comes to tell you, say, oh, Muslim he's going to close down churches, you know straightforward that because MPP rules with the church. We rule hand in hand with the church. Whenever MPP is in power, the church plays major roles. And that is why MPP will be in power. And one of the main projects we want to do is to build a national cathedral. That one alone tells you, say, MPP has a church in mind. And then, there are churches who are looking for a convention center that can have the capacity that they need to hold their programs. They cannot. They don't have any. And then, everybody wants to host a program at UPSA auditorium. It's becoming so much that they say, the highest bidder, the one with more money, is able to secure the venue. These are some of the things that President Akufo-Addo was preventing, and said that as a nation, we needed a national cathedral. And then, swearing in on the president, we do it in open weather. In Siotoa, then you realize, we are not a people so smart. Because the water destroys gadgets. So the amount of money we spend replacing those gadgets and everything, blah, 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 back and forth. Anchor, if we had put that money in building the National Cathedral, we would have saved ourselves a lot of stress. So MPP loves the church. Now, any man of God that has problems abiding by the laws of a nation, that man of God's character is questionable. Because Jesus Christ, a perfect example, said that let's give what belongs to Caesar and what belongs to God to God. So if Caesar's requirement is abiding by the laws of the country, you must abide by it. You must abide by it. What make us say, we are made for Debbie. So when you're made for it, so if you go and commit, let's say murder, we shall allow you to be because you're made for now. No. But you see, everything has stages. If today you go and give a warning shot in somebody's house and you feel that you are above the law, you should not be touched. Tomorrow it might not be just a warning shot. You might go and shoot somebody and you still say we should allow you, no one should be able to arrest you. Is that the kind of banana republic we want to build? No. Mboa. That is why some pastors became enemies of the MPP. Yeah, that is a secret. It's not as if he did anything wrong to them. And to the extent that some of the prophets who genuinely might have heard from God, and that God told them, say, Ankebeya, we should keep His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in perpetual opposition. And they themselves came to declare it with their mouth crown because of Otanya they have developed for the MPP by reason of their own indiscipline. Their own indiscipline. We didn't do them anything. MPP, they themselves were fighting among themselves and they were yielding guns and co. And when the law caught up with them, they felt, say, Aden. Again, we had an IGP, Ayɛka Dampare. And as IGP, he felt, say, some of the prophecies that the men of God were giving on 31st night, they were causing more harm than good. And so, Ankebeya, he was trying to regulate the kind of prophetic messages that are altered on the altar on 31st night. Right? And so, we made some pronouncement. Some way, somehow, instead of maybe facing Dampare for whatever instruction he has brought forward, people decided rather to let the MPP pay for it. So even for the sins of Dampare, people visited the wrath on the MPP. Whilst we were doing all these things now, we forget, say, the lives of people are at stake. Destinies are at stake. The future of this nation is at stake.